The materials that we need for this project is I use this ice yarns, which is DK light worsted weight category 3 yarn, and this is a 100-gram ball and it has 360 meters. So I used 5 balls, so around 1800 meters I used for my size. And then you need scissors, stitch markers, darning needle, measuring tape, and I used 3 hooks. So this is my Tunisian hook, 6 mm. So it's 12 inches or 30 centimeters long. And then I used a 6 mm crochet hook and a 5 mm crochet hook. So 6 mm I used for the cuff and ribbing of the body, and 5 mm I used for the neck ribbing. And that's it. Yeah. So let's get started. So we will first start with the ribbing of our front panel, and for that, with a 6 mm crochet hook, you're going to make a slip knot and chain 13. So now I have made 13 chains, and now in the second chain from the hook I'll make a single crochet. So this is my first and this is second. In the second chain I'll make a single crochet and single crochet in all the chains across. So this is my last chain and I'll make a single crochet in that also. Now I will chain 1 and turn my work, and I'll make a regular single crochet in the first one, in which I will be working with both loops. And in the next I will make single crochet in the back loop only. So this is the back loop and here this is the front loop, so only in the back loop, I make single crochet in back loop in all the stitches across till you reach to the last stitch, and in the last stitch you will again be making a regular single crochet going in both the loops and not just the back loop. So by the end of this row you are going to have 12 single crochets. So this is the last one and I will go in both the front and back loop and make a regular single crochet. Again, chain 1, turn your work and go back in similar fashion, a regular single crochet in the first one and single crochet in the back loop only in all the stitches across till you reach to the last stitch, and then again a regular single crochet in the last one. So this is the last stitch and I will make a regular single crochet on that. So you will simply be repeating row 2 and 3, and you will this is my tutorial is for size XL, so I will be making 94 rows total for the ribbing. So you'll have to see how many rows you need to work for your particular size, and once you're done with the ribbing, we'll meet back. So now I am done with my ribbing, and I have worked total 94 rows for my size, and now I have switched to my Tunisian hook 6 mm, and I ended up here. So now we will be picking up stitches. So I already have one stitch loop on my hook, so it will count as my first stitch, and now on each single crochet row I will pick one stitch. So now in the next, and then in the next, so for each row of single crochet you will pick up one stitch, and at the end you will have a total 94 stitches on your hook. So here I have picked almost all my stitches. This is my last stitch, which is 94th stitch. So this is my first row forward pass, and now we will work on our return pass. So for return pass you will simply chain 1 and then yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So it's very simple. You will simply yarn over and pull through 2 till you are left with one loop on your hook in the end. So continue across the return pass, and then we will start with the pattern. So now I have worked my return pass of row 1, and I'm left with 2 loops on my hook, so I will yarn over and pull through both the loops. Again I have 1 loop on my hook. So this first vertical bar is counted as your first stitch which is on the loop. So we will start working from the second one, and our foundation row is complete, and now we will start with our pattern. So it's very simple. So this stitch is already there, so in the second stitch we'll make a knit stitch. So for knit stitch there are 2 loops here, the front and the back. So you will insert your hook between these 2 loops and go back, yarn over and pull through both the loops like so. So this will be counted as 2 knit stitches, and now we will make 2 purl stitches. So for purl stitch you will bring your yarn in the front and then simply go from right to left in this vertical bar, then put the yarn back, yarn over and pull through like so. So you can see there is this bump here. So this is your purl stitch. Again you will make 1 more purl stitch in the next. So you bring your yarn in the front, go from right to left, put the yarn back again, yarn over and pull through the loop like so. So we have made 2 knit and 2 purl. Again in the next stitch we'll make a knit stitch, also in the next a knit stitch, and then 2 purl stitches in the next, purl stitches in the next 2. So 2 purls in the next. So yarn in the front, go from right to left, yarn at the back, yarn over and pull through this loop. So it's very simple. You will make 2 knit, then 2 pull, then again 2 knit, 2 pull. So again we'll make knit stitch in the next 2 and then purl in the next. So continue across, making 2 knit, 2 purl, 2 knit, 2 purl, 2 knit, 2 purl till you reach the end. And for the return pass, you will be working as usual like I did for the foundation row. So once I'm done with the forward pass of row 2, I'll join back and show you how we're going to do the return pass once more. So now I'm on my last stitches and I just did 2 purl stitches. So I will make knit stitch in this one, and in this one I will be just going through both the loops and pull up a loop. Now for the return pass again, I will chain 1 and then I will yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So continue your return pass, and once we are done with the return pass, I will show you one more time how we are going to do the forward pass for our next row. And it's just an easy 1 row repeat, so there is nothing much to it. So once I'm done with the return pass, I will join back. So now I have completed the return pass, and once more I will show you the pattern. So this is my first stitch, which is already on my hook, and this is the second, and we made knit stitches on previous row and we will be repeating that. So I'll make a knit stitch in the next one and purl in the next 2. Again I'll make knit stitch in the next 2 and purl stitch in the next 2. If you get confused, it's very simple to see which one is knit and which is purl stitch. So these long vertical bars are your knit stitches on which you need to make the knit stitch, and these bars with a bump are the purl stitches on which you need to make the purl stitches. So it's very simple. So you will continue repeating this row of alternating 2 knit stitch and 2 purl stitches till you reach to the point where we need to decrease for the neckline. So work for the number of rows given for your particular size, and then we will join back and work on the neck decrease together. So right now you can't see the pattern much, but once you work for 5 or 6 rows, then you will be able to see the pattern better. So here I've worked on my front panel. After the ribbing, I worked for total 54 rows, and now on row 55 will be our setting row, where I have placed my stitch marker in the middle. So I have 94 stitches in total. So I have left 47 stitches on both sides and I've put a stitch marker in between. And now we will shape our V-neck, and we will be working on both the sides simultaneously, which I'll show you in a moment. So this is my row 55. Also, one thing I want to mention is that this is the point where if you want your length of the sweater to be longer, you will be adding more rows, or if you want shorter, you will be starting your neck decrease earlier than row 55, and right now my panel measures around 16 inches, like 16 inches. So I will be working 10 more inches. Total 26 inches will be the length for my size. So if you want to increase the length, you have to add more rows right now, and if you want the length to be shorter than this, then you have to take away a few rows and start the shaping earlier than row 54. So now I'll start row 55. So we'll start as usual. So we will be working our pattern till where the stitch marker is. So we will be working as usual on the pattern. So we'll be making 2 knit stitches. Be very mindful of this stitch because you might miss it. I was almost missing it in every few rows, so I had to be very careful I don't miss it. So 2 knit and 2 purl till you reach to the point where your stitch marker is. So now I have reached to the last stitch before my stitch marker, and it's a Tunisian purl stitch. So I'll work it as usual, and then I will leave this yarn as it is, and for the right side of the shoulder, so this is the left side of the shoulder when you put it on, and for the right side of the shoulder I will attach a new yarn ball just after the stitch marker. So at this point here I will attach another ball of yarn, and now we will be leaving this yarn on this side and we'll work with the yarn ball that we attached for the right side. So now we will insert our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and now the first one is a knit stitch, sorry, purl stitch. So we'll yarn over, go from right to left, put the yarn back, yarn over, pull up a loop like so, and also pull through this loop. We'll tighten it up, and now this is our first stitch for the right side of the shoulder. Next 2 is Tunisian knit stitch, so we will work as usual. Then 2 purl, and next 2 is Tunisian knit stitch, so you will work Tunisian knit stitches and then purl. So simply follow the pattern of 2 Tunisian knit stitch and 2 Tunisian purl stitch till you reach to the end, and then I will show you how we are going to work on the return pass because we are working on both sides simultaneously. So I have completed my forward pass for row 55, and now I will work on the return as usual. Chain 1 and yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 till I reach to the last stitch before my stitch marker. So I have reached to the point where my stitch marker is, and now I will leave this yarn and I will grab the yarn on the other side. So I was working with this yarn, and now I will leave it, take my hook out, put a stitch marker on this, and now with this side of the yarn I will work the return pass as usual. So I will yarn over, pull through 1, and then yarn over, pull through 2. So this is the end of row 55, and now we will work on row 56, and we will now start decreasing for our V-neck shape. So row 56 we will start as usual, because we will be decreasing towards the end of this row, just before the stitch markers. So start with your pattern. Okay, so do knit stitch and then do purl, then again do knit stitch, to purl. So continue working in the pattern till you are left with 3 stitches before the stitch marker, and then we will make our decrease. So here I have reached to the end of my row 56 on the left side of the shoulder, and this is my stitch marker, and I have left with 3 stitches, 2 Tunisian knit and 1 purl. So I will be decreasing on this 3rd and 2nd last stitch. So I will go in both the stitches together and yarn over, pull through both these stitches, and last one I will work as usual, going in both the loops. So we have decreased 1 stitch on this side. Now we have 46 stitches on this side of the shoulder. Now I will leave this yarn on this side and open this stitch marker for the other side of the shoulder, insert my hook, and now I will be working with this yarn, and we will decrease at the start of the row. So this is our first stitch, and in these next 2 stitches I'm supposed to make a Tunisian knit stitch, and I will be going through both the loops, go back, yarn over, and pull through both these loops. So we have decreased 1 stitch here. Now I will work 2 purl stitches, and continue the pattern till I reach the end. So I have reached to the end of my return pass of row 56 on this side, just before the stitch marker. So now I'll take my hook out and put my stitch marker back, and now leave this side of the yarn and grab the other side, and this side also I will chain 1 and then yarn over, pull through 2 for all the stitches, and by the end of this row we have 46 stitches on both sides, because we have decreased 1 stitch on each side. of our neck. So now we have completed our return pass for row 56 for both the sides, and now we will, you can see we have started a decrease, and now on row 57 it's a no decrease row, so we will simply follow the pattern till you reach to the stitch marker, and then you will leave this side of the yarn and work on the other side with the other ball of yarn. There is no decrease on this row, so we will be decreasing every alternate row. So simply work the pattern till you reach to the stitch marker, and then switch the yarn and work on the other side. So I will be working till this point, and then I will leave this yarn and I'll put the hook on the stitch, and with this yarn I will work all the stitches in the pattern and work my return pass till here. Leave this yarn, put a stitch marker, and grab this side of the yarn and work the return pass on this side as well. So continue working across, and I will join you once I reach to this point. So now I am on row 58, and this is going to be a decrease row, so you will work in the pattern. Like so. So work in the pattern till you are just 3 stitches before the end, and then we will make our decrease. So I have reached the end and I'm left with 3 stitches, so I will make my decrease in the third and second last stitch. So this is a purl stitch, so I'll put my yarn in the front and go in both the stitches, put it back and yarn over, pull through both the loops. So we have decreased by 1 stitch here, and then work the last stitch as regular. And also I will put a stitch marker on this row so that I remember that I have decreased on this row, and next row is going to be a no decrease row. So now I will leave this yarn on this side, pull this stitch marker out, insert my hook and decrease in the beginning of the side. So this is my first, second and third. So in second and third I'm going to make a Tunisian net stitch together, going in both the vertical bars. So on this side also I have decreased by 1 stitch. So now I have 45 stitches on this side, and I am going to have 45 stitches on this side as well. And now I will simply follow the pattern. So I have decreased, now I have 1 purl and then 2 knit stitches. So simply work in the pattern till the end, work your return pass like I have shown. So here you can see that our neck is taking shape now. So you will simply be repeating row 56 and 57. 56 is your decrease row and 57 is a no decrease row, and you will work for the number of rows that is specified for your size. For my size I will be working total 90 rows, and once I'm done with the decreases and my front panel, we will bind off. So once I reach to the point, I'll join back and then we will bind off our front panel together. So I started my decreases from row 56, and I decreased every alternate row, and I have worked till 90, row 90. So now I have left 29 stitches. To bind off, we will simply work the stitches, and then we will also take it through the loop on our hook. So our first is going to be a net stitch. So I'll go back, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then I will not leave it on my hook. I will pull through the first loop on my hook. The second is a purl stitch. So I'll work it as usual and then pull it through the stitch on my hook. Knit stitch. So this is how we will bind off. So we'll simply follow the pattern and pull it through the hook that we have, the loop that we have on our hook. Now this is my last loop, and I will simply now cut my yarn, leaving a long tail which I will later on use to seam the shoulders. So now we will do the same for the other side. So continue across in the same fashion, and once you reach your last stitch, just fasten off, leaving a long tail. So now our front panel is done, and you will now work similarly for the back panel. So back panel is even easier, so you can do it on your own. I have already completed my back panel here, so I will show you how it looks. So this is my back panel done. It's a very simple rectangle piece. So you will start with the ribbing the way you did for your front panel. Pick up your stitches and start working on the pattern. And for the size that I'm making, I had 94 stitches and I worked for total 90 rows. So there is no decrease or anything for the back panel, so it's very easy. So work on your back panel, and once you're done with the back panel, we will start working on our sleeves. So for the sleeves, with 6 mm crochet hook, you will you'll make a slip knot and chain 13. And then in the second chain from the hook, so this is the first and this is the second, you will make a single crochet and make a single crochet in all the chains across. This is my last single crochet, and I have now 12 single crochets across. I chain one, turn my work, and make a regular single crochet in the first one, and single crochet in the back loop. So this is the front, this is the back loop, single crochet in the back loop, in the next, so continue across making single crochets in back loop only till you reach to your last stitch, and in the last stitch you will make a regular single crochet. So I've reached my last stitch. This is my last stitch, and I will make a regular single crochet going in both the loops. It's a little tricky. Last one always. Again, chain one, turn your work, regular single crochet on the first, single crochet in the back loop only in next 10, and on my last stitch I'll make a regular single crochet, chain one, turn. So continue this across, repeat row 2 and 3 for the number of rows that's specified for your size. For my size I will be working 46 rows, and once I'm done with my 46 rows of cuff, I will then join back and we will switch to our pattern from there. So work on the cuff, and you will be making 2 pieces of the sleeves. So if you want, you can work both the cuffs and then join back and start working on the sleeves. So I'm done with the cuff, and I worked 40 rows with my 6 mm crochet hook. Now I will take it out, bring in my Tunisian hook, and in the similar fashion that we did in our front and back panel, we will be picking 40 stitches from these rows. So from every single crochet row I will pick 1 stitch. So I already have 1 stitch on my hook, so I'll simply chain 1, and then in the next row I will pick 1 stitch, and in the next, so simply pick stitches on your hook. This is your foundation row, and then we will start with the pattern in our next row. And this is the last stitch. So now I have 40 stitches on my hook, and now we will work on our return pass. Chain 1 and yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 all across, till you are just left with 1 stitch on your hook. So now our foundation row is complete, and we have worked 40 stitches. Now we will start our pattern. So this is our first stitch, which is on the hook, and we'll make a Tunisian knit stitch on the next, and on the next we will make Tunisian knit stitch in all the stitches across. So on our sleeves we are just simply working Tunisian knit stitch in all stitches across. So I've reached the end of row 2 and it's my last stitch. And now we'll work the return pass as usual. So now I am at the end of row 2 and now we will start our row 3. So for row 3 also we will work as usual in Tunisian knit stitches, and row 3 and 4 will be similar as row 2. So just work your row 3 and 4 in a similar manner, and then on row 5 we will be increasing on both sides of our sleeves. So just continue across making row 3 and 4, and I'll join you back and we will work on row 5 and make our increases. So now I've reached to the end of row 4 and now we will be starting row 5, and on row 5 we will start our increases. So this is the first stitch here and this is the second stitch. So we will insert our hook between the first and second stitch in this gap, like so, yarn over and pull up a loop. So we have increased one stitch here, and then I will go in the second stitch and make a Tunisian knit stitch. So we have increased by one stitch on this side, and we will work Tunisian knit stitches across till we are left with just one stitch at the end, and then again we will increase one stitch at the end as well, similarly the way we increased at the start of our row 4. So I've reached the end of row 5 and I've just worked on my second last stitch. Now between the second last and last stitch in this gap we will insert the hook, yarn over and pull up a loop. Here we have increased by one stitch and then work the last stitch. Again return pass, chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2, all across, yarn over, pull through 2. So now we have increased by one stitch on row 4, and I prefer to put a stitch marker on my increase row, and we will simply follow row 1 to row 5. So for row 1 to 4 you will keep working in Tunisian knit stitch without any increases, and on every 5th row you will make the increase on both sides of your sleeves. Work for as many rows as mentioned for your size, and I will be working total 90 rows, and I'll be increasing on every 4th row and work Tunisian knit stitch in all stitches across. So continue making your sleeves, and once I've completed one sleeve I will join back and show how the sleeve is looking, and we will be making 2 pieces of the sleeve. So once you're done with this sleeve, also work on the other sleeve. So here I have completed my sleeves, and now we will start joining the shoulders, and you have to make one more sleeve. So I've already worked on that, so both my sleeves are ready, and we will move on to joining our shoulders. So to join the shoulders with the right side of the work facing each other, like so, you can join the shoulder with the help of tapestry needle or a crochet hook. So I'm using my 6 mm crochet hook to join it. So with the right side of the work facing each other, so this is my front panel and this is my back panel. So I've already left a little yarn when I fastened off, so I will be using that only. So I'll insert my 6 mm crochet hook on the very first stitch, like so, and I will yarn over and pull through both the loops. We will be slip stitching on the stitches, and I had 29 stitches across so I will be working on these 29 stitches to join our shoulder. So simply go through the next stitch, slip stitch here, and on your front panel, and pull through both the loops. Also in the next, go through both the loops of both the panels and pull through all the loops on the hook. So you will simply be slip stitching like so throughout for 29 stitches to join the shoulder, like this, on both sides. So continue across for 29 stitches, or however stitches you had to you worked for your size, and then simply fasten off. So I have reached to my last stitch, and unfortunately my yarn is just this much is left, so be careful not to cut too short a tail. So this is my last stitch. I'm somehow trying to manage it with the little bit of yarn that is left to work with. Okay, so I will tie it with this yarn to make it more secure. You don't do this, please leave sufficient yarn. So we have now joined one side of the shoulder, and now you will work on the other side in the same manner.
So now I have joined the shoulders, and excuse me, and now we will start joining our sleeves, and with the wrong side of the work facing you, and also with the wrong side of the sleeves. We'll line up your sleeve on your body. So I'll fold the sleeves, and this is the center point which I want to be on my shoulder seam. So I'll attach it with a stitch marker so that it doesn't move when I'm joining. And this is the side of my front and back panel, and that's the shoulder seam where I attached the stitch marker. Now I'll line both the panels together, and we will be joining the sleeves in a similar way, the way we joined our shoulders. It's up to you. If you are more comfortable with the needle, you can use you can use that, and I will be using the hook. And now we will start joining from one end to the other.
So I'll start joining from here till I reach the shoulder, and then I'll work the other side to this point. So continue across till you've worked to this point at the shoulder, and then on the other side till you reach here, and then just fasten off. Join both the sleeves in this manner, and then we will start. Also join the sides of your sweater from underarm to the ribbing, and then we will start on our neck. So now I'm done with joining both my sleeves, and after I joined my sleeves, I folded it and I started joining the sides of the sleeves. So I started from this point, and once I reached my armhole, I joined the sides of the body till the ribbing. So you have to do it on both sides, and now we are ready to work on our neck ribbing.
And now with the right side of the work facing you, I'm going to use my 5 mm crochet hook.
And I will join my yarn at this point here where our neck dip is. I'll join my yarn here.
So after joining the yarn, we'll chain one and we'll make single crochet, and a single crochet in the next. So this is our foundation row for the neck ribbing, and we will be making single crochets around. So continue across making single crochets, and once you reach to the point where we started, you will slip stitch.
So I have reached the end of row 1, and this is where we started our first single crochet. So I'll slip stitch on that one, and now I will chain 7, and I'll make a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So this is first, this is second. I'll make a single crochet on this one and single crochet across. 6. So we made 6 single crochets, and now to end this row and attach it to our neck, I will slip stitch in the next stitch like so. So we have completed this row, and to start the next row I'll slip stitch in the next stitch and turn my work and single crochet in the back loop only of the first stitch from that side. And if you get confused, count it from this side: 1 2 3 4 5 6. On the 6th stitch I made a single crochet in the back loop, and also in the next 4, and on the last one I'll make a regular single crochet. So we have total 6 single crochets, and I made single crochet in the back loop in the 5 and made a regular single crochet on the last one. Again, chain 1, turn the work, single crochet, a regular single crochet on the first one, and single crochet in the back loop in the next 5 stitches. Last one is always a little tricky, so make sure you don't miss it. And now again slip stitch on the body to complete the row, and in the next stitch to start the next row. So this is how you are going to work. You will again now turn your work, single crochet in the back loop only on the first stitch, single crochet in the back loop in all the 5 stitches, and a regular single crochet in the last stitch. Again, chain 1, turn your work. So just work this around till you reach to this point, and then we will be using a tapestry needle to shape it. So once I'm there, I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. So now I have worked my ribbing, and I have worked till the last stitch, and now I have switched to my needle because this is where I finished my ribbing, and now I will overlap it, giving it a V shape, and I will be sewing it across, so with the help of the needle. Sorry for that annoying noise, some construction work is going on. And then I will also attach on this side. And just cut the yarn, and also weave in all the tails that you have in your sweater.
So here we are done with our sweater, and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, do subscribe, like, and hit that bell icon so that you're notified of my future tutorials. And also leave in the comment how you like the video, and if you want me to change anything, or what kind of tutorials you want me to make. That will be a really great motivator. Thank you so much for coming by.